So we have about, I think, 50 minutes, not 40. Yes, it's a lot of topics to discuss. I think we got an extra 10 minutes. So first, let's just, you know what? Let's just start with no warm up. From every single one, give me the highlight, the most interesting or important trend that you see within your field of work that pertains to digitalization and healthcare. One trend. It can be one trend, one technology, one framework, one just.
It is still a dream, but I believe it becomes a trend.
Go for it.
I really want to see the technology, including AI, to work seamlessly, like on the background, while the doctor and patient are interacting, to put back the human interaction.
I'm sorry, but the images just popped up and they're in the wrong order. I said the leg tapping would start. We'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. All right. Sorry for disturbing you.
It's fine, it's fine. I'm also OCD, so I'm thinking, like, shall I move?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Anyhow, so just because I really think that it is very, we have a potential to bring back the human interaction, the true human interaction between doctor and patient with the technology. So doctors are not typing on the computers while listening to the patient, and patient is not like, waiting until the doctor will finish typing, but actually they talk. And the technology understands the concept, like the content, and helps both of them. So this is from my side.
Okay, so maybe I will continue. So I am medical derived, so I am working at the Charles University and in the Institute for the Care of Mother of Child. So for me, the implementation of artificial intelligence, it's not a dream, it's a reality we are dealing every day. If I will have a look in detail in my field, which is obstetric and gynecology, this year we implemented telemedicine program, which is a great to reduce the costs associated with providing of healthcare, because we can make perfect screening of low-risk pregnancies, not on-site, but online. And if we are suspicious that something is going wrong, then we can recommend to the patients to come to the on-site visit and to try to make some efficient solution to the appropriate troubles. So that's just one thing. Another one, I would like to say that a lot of effort was already made this year to implement fully from the next year the full not digitalization, but electronization of the medical records throughout the whole area of Czech Republic, which is a great deal as well, because it can simplify the work of many physicians providing healthcare, because they will have accessible one system throughout the whole of the healthcare providers, and to see the data once already collected, and also all the laboratory and clinical examinations that have already done. And we can share it, and we can reduce the costs, and not to examine the patients twice, which does not make sense. So these are just few examples we already implemented and we deal with. So the great advancements were also made in the field of radiology. So maybe this is the most emerging and fastly developing area where the AI has already been implemented. So I think that most of the public is familiar with that one, how CT and MRI evaluation already progressed, and how fast the interpretation and the evaluation of the data is, and it is more precise. And I could continue, I think, maybe for another 30 minutes, but at this moment, I think it is enough.
Okay, so I will continue. I am a starting scientist and I am a structural biologist. So for me, I have two specific examples. One would be AlphaFold, which you've probably heard about. It received the 2024 Nobel Prize for chemistry, and it can predict quite well the folding of a protein based on the amino acid structure, like the sequence. So this one is a great deal in the field, and I think it will progress even more. Right now, it's not as accurate as people would like to have it and scientists, but in the future, I think it will progress quite well. And another ones will are for interpreting data, which would be, for example, like size space. So I think it's very useful for an abundance of data to use softwares to interpret them.
Thank you. From my point, I believe that big future is just data, data, data. So biohacking, to having your data, to doing regular checkups, to keep from month 0 or year 0, or your data, and with AI to compare any slightly change in your data. And then, of course, you can also even predict some future diseases and such things. So I think we should be all data-based.
So the technology that is currently revolutionizing my field and that I dream about that soon everyone will be able to try by yourself is the know your genetic predispositions for certain diseases and some traits. So what I'm dreaming about is actually go beyond the prevention and diagnostics and treatment, but actually focus on prevention. So, yeah.
Thank you for all those responses. It definitely has me thinking. Obviously, there's a lot of like interplay, data, AI. You kind of use it to train, then you use it to like analyze, etc. So I would actually like to unpack that a little bit, because especially one thing that I really liked is the more honest evaluation. Because people are. Example, AlphaFold. Everyone's like, oh, AlphaFold, like, oh, it's gonna save the world, right? But then, as somebody within the field, you also can be like, hey, like, it's great, but is it really that great? Is it like the best thing since sliced bread at this point in time? So let's go down the line once again and just answer this. Okay, I'll try to phrase it like PR friendly, right? Because I don't want to frame any of you guys as like AI haters or guys like crapping on AI. But is AI in healthcare currently more hype, or is it outperforming humans? Or if it's not at the moment, is it a thing of 5 years, 10 years? Kind of you as futurists and visionaries, how far do you think we are from that point where AI really is just like outperforming all the humans?
Automatically goes to me, sorry. No, I will keep it short. I will challenge the question, because I think the goal is not to outperform the human, because human, especially doctor, has the unique judgment of the medical history of the patient, and AI, I don't think AI should change it or kind of like be better than this, because human eye can read the things which AI would not, and those things are very crucial. I think what is important is to ensure that AI can be a reliable partner for the doctor, because AI, in a nutshell, it's built on the millions and millions of opinions of other doctors and being trained, and then the average is being proposed to the doctor as the second opinion or third or fourth or hundreds, right? And then the AI doctor can basically make more informed decision based also or together with his human judgment about the patient. So I don't think we strive to be better than the doctor, but just to be good partner for the doctor.
Okay. I already mentioned the real applications which are used on daily basis, but that's true, it is not used in every hospital, it is used just somewhere. So it would be great if it would be the standard for the future as well, to have the equality in the providing of the health cares throughout the whole area of the Czech Republic. So the gaps we are tackling, and I feel we should be more active in the future, is the personalization of the medicine, which is not based just on the standard guidelines, but all of us are different. We differ in different issues. We have different genetics, different proteomics profiles. So we have different lifestyles, even we have different anthropometric parameters. And all of these issues is great to implement and to make the final decision about the personalized approach, what is the best for individuals and not for all of us. So this is the gap we have, and I am optimistic. I think we will fill this gap in the future, because we need more personalized approach, definitely. Another one, when I feel we are not as good as this moment, is preventive medicine. So we could be more efficient, more effective in predicting the later onset of diseases in our life. And we can do something with this information early, before the symptoms of the disease will appear, because usually when they appear, for some of us it's too late and we must be treated for the whole of our lives. So preventive medicine, it is something we should focus on, we should go on, because this is the only way how we can maintain good health conditions till later period of our lives.
Okay, so I think in science, AI is a great tool, but no way I think it can outperform humans anytime soon. I think we should utilize it as a tool, and for example, the AlphaFold is a great tool, but it needs to be interpreted by a human and a real scientist who uses critical thinking. So I'm gonna keep it simple as that. So we just should utilize it as a tool, and I do not think it can replace the critical thought process of scientists.
From my point, it depends, because I think in some kind of robotic operations, from my point, it could be better. It could be more precise. It depends on the training, on the database it was trained. So yeah, there will be fields where we could really rely on AI, and it could improve the healthcare, and fields where we still need just a human touch and human feeling.
Yeah, so I resonate with Alexandra. For me, the artificial intelligence is a method that is heavily based on statistics and the input that we can see it into that. So for me, the AI is not a thing that might outperform the human, but we should really use it as a partner in the tasks that we are embarking on.
Right. So yeah, we should not make the AI be better than us. We should make the AI so we ourselves are better. Crazy. This is a more of like a structural technology question, right? Because you are painting this beautiful picture of using technology in various ways throughout science, academia, the private sector. If we're talking about, for example, self-driving cars, right? If we were talking about self-driving cars, will be very clear. Right? Hey, Tesla, you invented this great algorithm. Like, wow, good on you guys. Go sell your cars with your brand new algorithm. But there's a pretty serious switch. Once you start talking about health, right? It's almost like, hey, pharma company, own this proprietary piece of technology and gatekeep it from the world. Suddenly there's like a bit of a switch, right? Because people suddenly don't feel like that's the right thing to do. So my kind of theoretical question is, if it were up to you, and once again, I think this will be very interesting to hear from different perspectives, should these technologies, these models, all of this stuff that is being used to embetter people's health, should it be open source? Should it be privately owned? Should it be owned by a non-profit? Because obviously that was a pretty big point of contention, for example, with OpenAI, right? Where they had a non-profit and then suddenly like a for-profit branch. So how would you approach this? I can give you some time to think if you want to come up with like a nice diplomatic answer to this. But yeah, the question is, what do you think would be the best model to run these technologies later down the line in healthcare?
Okay, so I think it's a very difficult question because we are in the beginning at this moment. But I think the speakers we already had here mentioned the regulations which are necessary and we are obliged as healthcare providers to follow. So if we have a look on NI models, on NI system, of course they need to be certified if they are as medical devices to use them for the provision of the healthcare. So if these AI systems are part of diagnostics, even they need another kind of certification, which follows the new legislation, which is quite complicated, and this legislation was prepared by the European Commission, and it is called IVDR. Maybe most of the audience is familiar with that one. And the trouble is that at this moment in the Europe, we have only few offices that are able to certify this, who are able to certify these IVDR labels. And also we have a little regulatory offices which give you the label to have a appropriate medical device. And this is something which is a trouble at this moment, but from these issues I mentioned, it is clear that the medical devices are not for public. It is not for everybody. It is something which is dedicated to be used by healthcare providers. So I expect a huge discussion on this topic. So the question is, if the basic form can be basic framework can be open, but definitely not the detailed medical device, which is provided just for her healthcare providers.
Yeah, I agree very much, and I also, when I was presenting, I'm a huge fan, for some reason, of MDR, and I really believe in the philosophy of that, because at the end it ensures also the creator, the startup or innovator, to make safe innovation, which can be used appropriately at the clinic. And at the same time, I'm not sure, at the current state of the healthcare sector, it would be good for us to put all of this into the hands of the governmental bodies. It just might delay everything even more. And the healthcare sector, in my humble opinion, is one of the least developed at the moment, meaning that there is a huge potential that we need to innovate, we can innovate, and so on. And I think exactly those safeguarding mechanisms for the private development of the innovation in healthcare are being done through the MDR and through other regulatory frameworks by the European Commission, I think the only challenge is that the funds are not very much accessible for those smaller innovators to actually execute and put this into the market. But that is another topic. Yeah.
Okay, so I do agree with what was said here, that the government would probably slow down the process of new innovations in this because there's a lot of bureaucracy that would be happening. But yeah, I do agree with this, and I think it should be kept more heavily to the professionals in the field, but also open source in the sense of seeing what the algorithms are being trained on, but keeping the privacy of the data.
Open source.
Yeah, I think this is a great question, and my answer to that is balance. As someone who has a strong academic background and who is an open science ambassador, I also agree that it should be open, so we can all take the inspiration or maybe implement the models from the GitHub and develop on that. But on the other hand, I think when a startup or company is working on kind of AI model that they are developing by themselves, I don't see a problem in to make that proprietary, right? Because why not? Still, it's a technology, as we said. So, yeah, balance.
Now, let me. Well, open sourcing would I guess solve a bunch of problems.
It's happening already.
It is. Right?
Without it will be development much slower. Yeah.
I just wanted to throw this idea into the void. That being an ethics committee, right? Ooh, scary topic. Yeah, that would be my question. Now, I kind of had that prepared more if I had a panel of everybody being like, hey, well, let's make it proprietary, right? So I was kind of caught off guard. But what do you think about ethics committees, right? Because I thought about it when I was like thinking about questions and open source, and or even if governments like own their own little bits and pieces of technology. Again, and actually even that this would apply even kind of to the self-driving example. There's some ethics involved with it, but healthcare, science, stuff that does with our bodies, much more. Who decides the ethics of the models that are being used in healthcare?
I'm still the first one. Okay. Okay. So,
and now's the time. Okay, switch it out.
so at this moment, the situation is like that this issue is not centralized. Usually each medical center or each provider of the healthcare has its own ethical board. And we are obliged to have informed consent, which must be signed by the patient, in the case of children by the parents or the other people who are responsible for taking care of the children. And usually it is very important to respect the will every time, to respect the will of the patients and not to provide what they usually don't want to be provided on their own body. So we need to respect this. But as I told, it is uncentralized process. Maybe to have the standards throughout the whole country, it would be nice to have more centralized systems, to have equal ethical issues which we will be obliged to follow instead of that one individual ethical committees, because there can be some discrepancies. One ethical committee can say it is okay, another one can say it is not okay enough to implement on the patients, and we can go to the discrepancies in the providing of healthcare, which cannot be equal throughout the country. That's one way which is very important, and of course all the data must be definitely anonymized, so it's impossible to do anything without the information that the patient was not informed in detail before the procedure was performed.
I don't have much experience in drug discovery because the ethics committee there is, as far as I know, heavier than when it comes to the AI and technology ethics committee. But from my field, ethics committee is one part of achieving the MDR and being compliant to AI Act. And a beautiful thing is coming to you, which is called European Health Data Space, which will provide actually this hopefully huge data pool of anonymized data from the patients, which already agreed to donate this data for R&D purposes and further innovation development, which I think will boost it. So again, I don't know about drug discovery. I think it would help there as well. But when it comes to the technology, I think thanks to that, it would be easier also to pass the ethics because the data was already voluntarily donated with all the consents. Plus, in any case, ethics is a huge part of passing the MDR and AI Act. So no one can even think of skipping this step.
I think we have to make new definition what is ethic for AI. Yes. What is yes, what is not. This is my point, yeah, because it's absolutely new dimension which is coming. And of course, some things could be even considered non-ethic, some like research on the newborns, for example. But we need it because maybe it could prevent other big problems or other diseases if we will do this research. So it is ethic or non-ethic. Yeah. But there are many things which has to be defined. I think it's something new which is coming, and it is not, I would say, now I think we don't have see certain knowledge what we should require from AI.
Actually, if I just one thing, and I think you know because you're also from Slovakia, basically there is Campellan Institute of Intelligent Technologies, KINIT, emerged recently in Slovakia, and last year we won the Ethic AI Award. So basically what we are seeing as the trend across Europe is that there are NGOs emerging to help those AI startups, not only in healthcare, but also in healthcare, to know how to build ethical AI, what does it mean, how to check it, how to prove it, and then basically ensure this quality. So this is, I think, very positive trend we see.
That's quite cool, actually. I think that this is a tough question. And I'm definitely not an expert in ethics, but I think that it should be not rely only on the founders of the technology, but because it's a bit problematic and contradicting, I think there must be some other regulatory element that might provide something like second opinion, right? So people can, or we can then judge and choose, you know.
Can I add something? So, by the way, I am the member of the ethical committee, so I am very familiar with that one, how the ethical committee works. So, one interesting thing is that one, it is composed not only of the medical staff. We have a lot of persons who have different occupations, and we have lawyers, we have the other people from different fields of specialization, and even we have the persons from public. And every vote is equal. If anybody is suspicious that something is wrong and it is not specialist, we have voting about the specific issue, if the project will go on or not.
That's interesting. Then doesn't it make actually things even worse? I mean, if everyone has an opinion on that and not everyone is an expert in the field, then you know?
No, I think you have the feeling. You do, everybody who is going to the ad hoc board have in advance all of the materials. Everybody can be prepared for this action, which is great. It is accessible for all of the members. We are prepared, and if you are suspicious, you don't need specific education. If you are suspicious about anything, you can ask the professional. You can ask independent professional, not the members of the ethical board. And if you still have the feeling that something is going bad, and it is not going in a good way to improve the healthcare or diagnostics or the treatment or anything else which is associated with that one, you can give negative votes. And to get the project to go forward, you need at least 75% of positive reactions.
American court system. It's basically like American court system, you know, because citizens, they're also voting on the case. Seems like it reminds me of that.
Beautiful analogy.
Okay, I'll just continue to.
I don't think I have anything to add to this.
Perfect. I didn't want to start talking, so somebody would then blame me for being a bad moderator. Now, I may not be a bad moderator, but I am definitely a tough moderator. I will just keep peppering you with tough questions, right? So be prepared, but it might be the last one that will take us through this panel discussion. AI / any technology, so we're not just here talking about AI all day. But, you know, technology without human involvement. Who is accountable? Because obviously I'm kind of bringing it back. You mentioned the American court system. I spent my time at college in America. I know how in America you look at a person wrong, you step on their shoe, and suddenly there's a lawsuit and a court date because somebody sued you for whatever reason, right? Americans love that. I get a diagnosis. I think a false positive would be the better case, but I get a false negative. I get severely ill, and then I come and I say, hey, you, sir, you, madam, you're responsible. And they go, hey, wasn't me. Good old AI. Who is responsible in this world? Should we really, I think it might lend ourselves back to hey, it should be a medical professional making a decision in the end, but maybe somebody has like a radical new solution, like jail for AI, I don't know.
So, okay, I feel responsibility to answer this question. So, it's a very important question because imagine the situation, who is going to the prison, AI or the provider of the health care? So that's the very simple question we can very easily answer. So of course, at this moment, the status of the AI is a supportive tool. So the final decision is at this moment, and I hope it will be the same in the future, on the medical person, on the medical staff who is providing the health care. Even it's very important to say that we are obliged to follow the law, not only national law, but international European law as well. So the responsibility is on humans, not on AI. And the situation that there is a discrepancy between the interpretation which is given by the medical staff and which is provided AI can appear frequently because it's normal situation. But medical staff is obliged to be educated and to follow all of the guidelines and to have sufficient amount of the knowledge, which must be regularly deepened and innovative, because the world, especially medical world, is very fastly developing. Sometimes AI can be better, but sometimes in the decision, sometimes it can give you false positive results or false negative results, but still the final decision is on the medical staff, and it is going behind the medical staff, not behind the AI supportive tools.
Yeah, actually, I want to draw here a bit a parallel to medical devices, the hardware, like CT scan, for example. Would CT scan go to jail if CT scan would, give more dose of radiation to the patient? But I'm getting somewhere here with this. So yes, as the basement, a doctor or medical professional is liable for medical decisions based on the outside inputs, whether it's from hardware, software, and so on. But for example, me as the CEO and the PRRC, maybe someone knows this role, it's personal responsible for regulatory compliance at such companies. If the doctor will prove that the AI or technology doctor used was malfunctioning, and therefore the doctor unfortunately made the wrong call and the patient died, me personally goes to jail. So it's like, again, it's not about the AI, and this is the law. It's like, as the basis, doctor is responsible for making the medical call. But then when the investigation goes, and if the trail goes to someone like me making the wrong decision, I can go to jail as well.
Okay, I think it depends on the technology, but in science, I think many innovations and technology is still greatly overviewed with scientists, so they will be the ones responsible for any mistake.
Of course, there will be always, I would say, second opinion. So I think with every new, I would say, diagnosis of something will be there a doctor behind which will check the diagnosis of AI. But there is another word, and it's just a self-home doctor to be. So many people are now using AI more and more, and they are just looking for, I think, answer if what is this disease, if I am sick or not, if I'm healthy, how I should treat me at home and by myself. And this will be very interesting future, because I think more and more people will try to do it with just AI to make, instead of to go to traditional, I think, general doctor, they will do their home self, general doctor.
That's me to a T, by the way. And it always gives me like the worst answer. I always get so scared. Like I was like, my arm kind of hurts after yesterday's workout. And they're like, yeah, buddy, you got cancer. I'm like, what? What'd you say? Yeah, so we need to optimize those a little bit.
Yeah, so I resonate with Ilona. I really liked her answer, and I think that at the end of all that pipeline that is done by AI, there must be a human being that will do the decision making. So, yeah.
Cool. I think we're running out of time, but I have one final question. I really like this thing that Y Combinator do. Every year they release like they call it a call for startups. So I want a call for startups from you guys. It could be, I think I'm bringing it back kind of to the first question, but everything that we've spoken about, if there's one thing that you would like to say to these innovators, be like, work on this, work on robotics, work on, hey, AlphaFold, work on data centers for healthcare, work on a centralized system. What would be this one call for startups that you would like for these guys to just go and build a big next company on top of?
Work on your life mission. I think pre-step to that, define what is your life mission and then work on that. Because money or fame will fade away very fast because resilience for startup is tremendous, which you would require. And unless there is something which pushes you through, is there in place, the great company most probably will not be. And it can be any field, and it's very individual to any person, but it has to be this life mission, which is like, I will die, but I will do that.
I kind of forgot that I'm sitting on stage with really nice people, because for like 5 years I've been used to sitting alongside like American crypto bros, so they would just tell you whatever's like the newest thing into like TechCrunch. That was a very genuine answer, by the way, but they would always go like, yeah, crypto's hot, yeah, go for AI, bro. So.
Okay, maybe I will add one more very important issue, and it is that one I think we are obliged as a medical staff to go forward and to implement AI to all fields of the medicine. However, we need perfect cyber security. That's the first thing. And I think that the implementation of AI is on the second place. Firstly, cybersecurity must be in a perfect stage, because you know that many hospitals are under the daily attacks, and if they are going inside a system, it has a very severe damage, not only to lose the personal data of the patients, but the other one, when the systems are not working at this moment in the hospital, it is something which can endanger your lives. So cybersecurity is the first one. The second one, perfect transparency of AI models and AI systems. Easy interpretable models must be available. All medical staffs need to understand what the interpretation of AI is based on and how the data were created, and if it is in line with the provision of actual healthcare according to actual valid guidelines.
Okay, I would agree with cybersecurity and data protection, but I also see a great future in innovations in biosensors and personalized medicine.
I will be sure we will collect more and more data, so we need a huge data centers in Czech Republic.
That's true. So I'm very excited about the healthcare innovations that are currently going on regarding the diagnostics and treatment. But what I'm thrilled about is the prevention. So I think we can use these emerging new technologies to also boost the prevention applications. And I think that might be really important for human beings to not only live longer, but live in a healthy state, right, without disease. And actually, before we will start with treatment or with diagnostics and treatment, we can start with the prevention. So that's my call.
Guys, this has genuinely been like the most fun panel discussion that I've had in all of these like conferences. So thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, massive round of applause.